June 4th, year 2019. This is Mishanur Raman from Toronto. This is video number 6 on Financial Planning Tacit Knowledge Series, Entrepreneurship. And today I'm going to talk about decision-making process. Now, what is a decision-making process and how we come to a conclusion or how we make a decision? Now, before we make our decision, we go through analyzing, understanding, and there's a process called gathering information. There are a few processes that often people follow. We gather information, and then based on the information that we gathered, we compile our summarized ideas, and then we come up with some choices, right? And then we analyze those choices, the opportunity cost associated with the choices, and then we make a decision among the choices that we have, right? And that's how in economics the opportunity cost arises of making a decision over the others, choosing one decision or making one decision over the others, opportunities that are available to us, right? So now I do want to talk about, I want to keep this video short. I won't talk much about it today, but the decision-making process involves business, the business analysis, analyzing the business, right? So why we need to analyze our business? The reason is because we want to understand our business. Many of us, we get into a business owner, and then we as a business owners, we continuously evolve ourselves with decision-making process. We gather data, we gather information, we meet people, we network, and so forth. Now, analyzing business is very important. Is understanding a business process. What is the way you are? Each industry has a different business process, right? So the way we conduct our business, the way we route ourselves, the way we do things, a business process, analyzing the business. We want to analyze our business, and to do that, often you're going to need those professionals like I mentioned before, and you're going to have that on your team. But you need to understand something as a business owner of a business. You must have knowledge. You must earn knowledge, and you must have information available to you to make the right decision. And often you'd see nowadays business owners, they're really busy networking, watching business news. They do spend time on Market Watch, how markets behaving, market psychology, and so forth. This is a simple process of understanding the business itself, right? So let's say if you are into a business which manufactures teacup, right? Or it could be anything. It could be even paper, right? So, or you're in a business for newsprint or newspapers. So whatever the business is, so you'd have to understand that business trend. And to understand the business trend, you would have to, or to understand the business, you have to gather data about your business. And that's why we do have business planning, because we gather data and we compare our business with the other businesses in the same industry, right? And because we compare ourselves continuously, because we compare our success or our improvements or demotions with our competitors or the another business in the same industry, allows us to understand the business, which direction we need to go, what information we are lacking, and what decision we make that contains errors. So erroneous decision that contains errors, that is not fully the decision that is not fully functional, the decision that has, that is very sometimes we make decision that is not the best decision available to us. Sometimes we make decision without fully analyzing the situation. So today, the concept of we continuously need to analyze our business. So as a business owners, we want to put some time aside on a day so that we could analyze our business. We could understand the transaction that we've done today, right? Often a lot of people, they actually close their day by writing the day summary of the business, what they have done, right? So they would put up, full note disclosure for their work day, or some sort of summarized, what they have done and where they have to go from tomorrow, or what they have to do. So they would structure that, but this is not what I'm trying to talk about. The reason I'm trying to get to a point where we want to understand the business, where the business needs to go. And to do that, where the business needs to go, we need to gather data, we need to gather information. It's called decision-making process. And that's what I want to talk about, where we want to go. So where we want to expand our business to. So this is where, a lot of successful business, they spend a lot of time analyzing the market, analyzing the information that's available to them, that are best available to make the right decision. So once we make a decision where we want to expand our business to, then we need to raise capital, right? So then the question comes, why do we need to raise capital, or why do we need to finance a project, and how do we raise this capital for this particular project, and which market do we go to? What is the best, what is the best option that is available to us, to the lowest cost of raising capital or lowest borrowing cost to finance the project? Whichever way you finance your project, you need to understand the decision making, because the decision we make often it becomes very difficult to change it. You'd have to excuse me, I have a problem with my throat. So the decision we make is based on the information that is best available to us. Now, I know I talked about the decision-making process a long time ago in one of those videos. I'm not sure if it's publicly available at this point or not. But the question of raising capital, how do we take our business to the next step? So let's pick a business today. Let's pick a business that started off. Let's say you are an entrepreneur, and in my case, when I started my first business, I started off, you know, I started off putting my thoughts together. Why do I want to get to a business? What motivated me? Let's not talk about the motivation of the business side, but let's talk about the process that I went through. So I incorporated my business. You may have incorporated your business by using a lawyer or accountant and so forth. There's different professionals that can incorporate your business. So the business owner, you first incorporate your business, or you run on a or you run on a self-employment structure, or probably non-registered business that is not a corporation. It could be partnership, or could be proprietorship, or just an individual self-employment structure business. But what is the best form of business? Obviously, we know it's a corporation. It's limited liability, reduced liability. We don't want to talk about the legal side of the corporation, but rather talk about the why, because we start our business, each of us has a goal, and we all have different goals, but we all have similarities as well. That way we conduct our business, that way we move forward, the smoothing process, the transition process from one step to the next step. So we first start a very small way, for a small, maybe a very small corporation, depending on maybe we register our business, have a corporation, finance our business, and then we grow from a small to medium business, medium to large business, and then large business goes to publicly traded and becomes global company, right? So there's ladders, steps. Now often if it is often there are businesses, they actually form at the very beginning. They could form as a large business. They have the capital power, they have the budget, they have the expertise available, they have the there not so many business they actually form in that in that stage. But this is what I want to talk to you about. The tradition is about to change, and it's in the process of changing. This is what I want to get to, I want to talk to, and that's why all this talk. And to get to this point, I could have said straight out, but it may not have make any sense to you. But we follow a process. We climb various transition process. We walk through very transition process from a regular proprietorship to a partnership, from partnership to limited partners. Well, let's not get to the limited partnership. From partnership to a corporation, or whatever, proprietorship, corporation. But at some point, we need to grow, and that's why we make the decision to extend our business, because we cannot, if we don't grow, then obviously let's put it this way. If you're producing certain product, and if you're only marketing to Canada, we only have limited consumers, so your business would get stuck in Canada, right? So in past we went through a lot of process to various, from a small business to mid-sized business to large business to then publicly traded business. What is going to happen is, what's been happening lately is that the company forms as large business and then they go to public. It's been happening for the last decade or so. And the problem they face is the financing that business. And this is where the problem comes in, financing that large business. And that's where I want to focus to. how a business can form in a large shape, in a large corporation, and then when shortly after simply move on, take on to the publicly traded. So, and it's possible. It is possible that is going to happen. The reason is because the competition, because the globalization, because the need, because of the market limitations, because of the economic policy, because of the 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 world economy, because of the our limitation, our resource scarcity, because of the modernization of the economy. This has been because of all those reasons. We can, a lot of business nowadays forms from large to and the large as a large business, and then they go to publicly traded, and then and go on and go on. But then they go to national, international company, then it's global companies, then and at some point it grows, really, really large. But the question comes to, in my talk to you first time, is that at some point in my first video on the financial planning tacit knowledge series, the entrepreneurship, is that at some point we are going to have our consumers at the edge of this orbit, of this Earth orbit, maybe in another planet. We don't know. We are still young. We're still in an innovation process, learning process, this universe, and we have a lot to discover, and we have a lot to learn. We have a lot far to go. So my way of sitting at this 2018, I think from my understanding, I think very, very soon we are gonna need, it might come out very shocking and surprising. World population will surpass, or the world will be so populated at some point. If we don't control the population, even if we control the population, we are going to outrun the resources that we have. At some point, we'd have to find resources from some other places. And perhaps, yes, maybe it's still too early for me to talk about it. Maybe it's not, but we're gonna have business running from this Earth to another planet, and it is going to happen in probably 100 years or maybe 200 years from now on. The way the technology is going, if they continue to proceed the same way. But I was actually listening to someone, and they said that at some point we are stuck. Are we really stuck? The question is that they're talking about the aeroplane, and they're showing the aeroplane in when it's invented, and the shape today of the aeroplane, but they forget about the other stuff that the scientist community has been working on it. And I think, if I'm correct, if I think right, this is going to happen very soon. The business world, we are going to have our civilizations, our era in this earth, moving to a different planet, or different somewhere else, and then we're gonna have all those things. Maybe it's just too much talking about this, but to get the idea is that we're going to start from large business to publicly traded business, and move forward, right? Because we are not going backward. And to finance this business, often what they do is that they actually go to there's a different way to finance this raise capital for this. these large businesses, and the way it's done is, the usual way is that the usually what had been happening over the years is that either you probably sell your shares, or probably you bring new investors into the business. Now, these investors could be pension funds. This could be large corporations. This could be another large corporation. So you kind of put your investors together, and then you would have a management company already that you have it in place. Excuse me. You have this. You would have your professional team, which is the management of that large corporation, and that you would have your investors. The managers, or the governing or the management of this business, or the professionals, or the tacit knowledge, I like to call this tacit knowledge, the professional, they put together maybe 30, 40 professionals, or maybe 20, 40 within the range, and then they reach out to investors, and the investors likes it, and they form a business, and they take off, and they would probably, this professional also probably would have this man. There would be there would be the management team, and this management team would probably, along with these investors, probably own some shares and continue. But then shortly after, they would probably take this business, because of this, their knowledge about the industry is so immense. So it's because of the expertise, the professional that come, the management team that is formed, it is large. They have a tremendous amount of knowledge about industry. So because of their experience, they could move very fast. So they form within a year a large corporation, maybe within 3 years. They require 3 years audited financial statements to get from large corporation to publicly traded corporation. So this can happen in a very short period of time. And a blink, it's 3 years. It's a blink. If you compare time, it's not such a long time. So, but this is really random. This financing that we have in place, it's really nothing extraordinary. The old stuff, right? And there's other financing options that they have, but I want to talk about that. The various financing method, or various way of capitalizing, various way of raising capital for a business to expand, or to extend the operation, or to go public, or whatever that you want to do. There's a various process to it. I want to talk about that in my next video. What are the options that is available to us? Now, obviously, and that's where the investment dealer comes in. That's where the underwriters comes in. So there's a various way of raising capital, the various way of now, I don't want to use, these are all traditional, and we need something really new way and efficient way of raising capital, because this is a really rigid process, right? I mean, if I had all those professionals on our side, and if we really could put things together, and then if we could really move fast forward, why wasting time, right? So there should be other way, that the financing or the raising capital option that we have in the market is really traditional. There is nothing exciting about it. And I want to see something new, something different, something extraordinary, something something different other than this casual, this ordinary way of, this traditional way of financing a business. So let's talk about that in my next video. Let's talk about a newer way of financing a business, and something that is not traditional, something that is different than what we've been doing in the past, right? And I'll also talk about what I've been using, the method and in the traditional way of financing. So we know we could probably, we know that we either through issuing shares, new shares, trading to the market, selling bonds with various sweeteners, selling stocks, swaps, and all so many things. But this is regular traditional way of raising capitals. But let's talk about something new. How we could raise capital in a new way, an efficient way, and at the same time having a team on our side, a team that is balanced with expertise, that has all the expertise that is required within the management team itself, and then they would form the business and take it to the next level, right? And then from next level to the international to multinational. But what is, like I said, this is what's been going on. Even though, as you can see, there's a lot of small business been taking place, but very soon it's going to, because of this globalization, because of the limitation of the consumers, because of the various restrictions and resource scarcity, we are going to have a problem with small businesses. We may not have any, we're going to have a problem of, we're already facing that problem. Excuse me. I have a bit of cold. So you'd have to excuse me for these interruptions and my voice and my poor voice today. Anyway, let's talk about this in our next video, on the video number 7, and this was the video number 6 on the Financial Planning Tacit Knowledge Series. This video was briefly a brainstorming for the decision-making process, how to get from point A to point B, and then from point B to simply take off to this, like a plane landing to take off, right? So we're going to take our business off to international and multinational and global, and we want to vision that.